thanks to a couple of people who dobbed us in for the last video, crabbing with Brett. We got called into the fisheries. Brett's already been fined for water tower. Is that it? No, next time.
Next one.
Brett's already been fined for, apparently, I didn't know this, I've never crabbed before, I only ever crabbed with Brett, and Brett told me that name on the pots was enough, but apparently the rule is name on top and bottom and the dress or something. Brett's been fined for one, they let him go on the other ones. Yeah, so we're going in to talk to the fisheries officer. I got Drew with me. He's going to film the interaction. We're going to put this up for educational purposes. Just to let you know before anyone jumps on their high horse, I'm going to do my best. Brett's an absolute legend. I'm going to do my best to pay for the fine. I know he's not going to let me, but the plan is to pay for any fines that come out of here. I will pay for, because I don't want to do that to him. So yeah, he's an absolute legend. He won't let me, but that's what we're going to try and do. But we're going to go sort this out. Idea is something to do with, there's a new legislation to do with owning and using. Even though 8 pots went out, it's got to be the user's name on it. So yeah, we're just going to go have a chat. And so yeah, we're just going to clear up my involvement in the whole thing, and yeah, we'll sort it out. So come along for the ride. Watch the snake.
Are you Timothy?
Yeah, it is.
Hang on, mate.
You're right. Hold on, mate, if that's all right.
Mate, that's fine, mate.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, mate, that's it.
Film,
Lord, mate.
Education, Nigel.
How are you?
That's Drew.
Drew.
Hey, Drew.
How are we?
Been recorded, mate.
Yeah, that's
okay.
right.
So, yep, just so you know.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, cool. How are you, mate?
Yes,
Met you the other day.
Did you?
I'm the turtle guy from the library.
Yes, did. Yeah, okay.
You don't mind if we do a bit of filming as well, eh? Just for educational purposes.
I can't permit it.
You can't?
No, I can't. No, I can't stop you, but I can't permit it.
Perfect.
That's
That's good enough for me.
Alright, mate. So I'll just follow this up. Just give us a second. So thanks for coming in for starters.
Oh, that's all right. I was on my way back.
Rightio. Bombed out of it.
Something picked my live up. Something picked my live up. That's all legal, that marine fishing.
Just get rid of the ads, mate.
Don't skip them.
Gotta watch the ads.
Goes to the ends of the earth, so you can too. Pay securely at over 80 million locations
Well,
worldwide.
it's professional, mate. We'll go through this, isn't it?
Yeah. Look at the claws on it.
Alright. So, there's my authorities as a fisheries inspector.
Yep.
So what the basis of today is, I have received several complaints in relation to this video here called Flushed Out, Crabbing with X-Pro, Catch and Cook by Timmy the Turtle. That's you?
Yeah, that's me.
Looks like you in the video.
Mm.
You put this on?
I did.
Yeah, it looks like about a day ago or something thereabouts.
Yep.
And this is about within the last week or something you
Yeah, in
did
the last
this
week.
trip?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact dates, but yeah, within the last
Alright.
week. Whenever the rain was.
Yep. So, I've received the allegation, so just the way the process works, someone rings up,
Yeah.
gives allegations, I investigate it.
Yeah.
So the allegations that I received revolved around unmarked apparatus,
Yep.
excess apparatus, and there was also several concerns about cooking the crabs alive.
Yeah.
Now I've spoken to several of the complainants and said cooking the crabs alive, nothing to do with QBFP,
Yeah.
and sort of referred them to sort of No. If you want to make a complaint, it's more of like an RSPCA type issue. It's nothing to do with us.
Looking forward to the phone call.
I just got to say, it's nothing to do with us is what I told them.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the Fisheries Act
Yeah.
about that. If you're not intending to keep them, yes, they are to be released immediately,
Yeah.
unharmed.
Yeah.
If you're not going to keep them or eat them, all right? So, in regards to that. Now, when I looked at the video, in terms of the excess apparatus, I wasn't able to substantiate the
Yeah.
claims that were made against you and the other gentleman on the boat.
Yeah.
You know who that was?
Yes.
Do you want to tell me who that was? That's him?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. So yes, that is him. I was spoken to Brett.
Yeah.
He gave indication, so on days 1 and 2, there were 3 of you on board.
Mm-hmm.
There was Brett in Brett's boat, yourself, and I believe Brett's young fella who's
Yeah.
gone back to Newcastle. So you're allowed to have 4 crab pots each.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to ascertain that there were 12 or more being used, and he went out over a period. So the 3 of yous were day 1 and day 2.
Yeah.
Day 3 there was just you and Brett.
Yes.
Young fella's obviously gone. So you're aware that. So apart from doing this, showing me your driver's license, giving me your full and correct name,
Yeah.
your date of birth, and your full and correct address. From this point on, you don't have to, show me your driver's license if you've got it on you. I'll let my camera on my desk, I'm going to get that. Thanks, mate. So apart from here on in, now that I've sort of given you the allegations, what's been made, I can't substantiate the excess, nothing to do with me, the cooking the crabs alive,
Yeah.
Queensland Fisheries in general. However, I'm going to go over some other things with you here in regards to marking of the apparatus. All right,
Right.
so I'll just get a photo of this. So that being said, this is being done. I do have to give you the caution, mate. You don't have to say I'll do anything. Anything you say I'll do can be used in evidence. All right?
Yeah.
You understand that?
All good.
All right. Now, I can't disclose to you the action that I've taken with Brett,
Yeah.
but if Brett wants to discuss that with you, that's fine, mate. I can't stop that.
Yeah.
And just as a professional thing, I can't do that. Nor will I tell him what the
Yeah.
outcome of today between us were.
All good.
All right.
Yeah.
So, day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 3 was probably the easier one for me. It relates to you more specifically in that, we have rules and regulations for fishing in Queensland,
Yeah.
and you know that those rules are subject to change from time to time. Did you check the rules on crabbing prior to going out?
No, I did not.
No?
No.
Alright, so what's your belief with how crab pots and that should be marked?
I've only ever crabbed with Brett twice.
Yeah.
And I asked him about it, and he just said that it was name on pots only. I don't know if it's ever been changed from that or whatever, but that was my belief on it. Is what Brett had told me, because I took his word for it. That was that was it. So name on pot and phone number, and that was. And he had told me that it was 4 pots per person in the boat.
Alright.
So that is all I know. And then legal size limits, Jenny's go back. That's the entire knowledge.
You guys
of
did
crabbing.
everything right there.
Yeah.
In fact, I commend you for throwing back the half-empty crabs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And by the way, I did enjoy the video too, mate. But moving on, so day 3, when I look at the video here, 6 apparatus in total that I can identify.
Yeah.
Brett's told me a certain number that
Yeah.
you had set out. What was that number, do you believe it was, that you had out?
We had 8 out.
Even on day 1 and 2, when you
8
could have?
on 1 and 2, 8 on 3.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome, thank you. So on day 3, and it can be seen in your video here, we can go through it if you like, it's up to you.
No, it's
I'm
fine.
sure you
I
will.
remember it.
So apparatus 1's got a white tag, it's marked with and a phone number. Apparatus 2, blue tag. In fact, they're all with these phone numbers on them.
Yeah.
Apparatus 3. So what you have to have is on the crab pot itself has to have the user's name
Yeah.
and address.
Yeah.
Up the top, if you're going to use a float,
Yeah.
it has to have the user's name on the float.
Yeah.
If you're using a tag, which is fine, it has to be a tide above the high tide mark,
Yep.
and there has to be a tag there with the user's name on the tag. So day 3 here, technically, after 4 apparatus, the other 2 should have had your details on them.
Yep. Because I'm a user.
Because you're a user.
Not the owner.
Yeah, it used to be the owners, but
Righto.
they've gone away from that, and
Yeah.
that's been out for a couple of years now.
How do you define user? Is it the person that puts
Well,
the
it
pot
should
in,
be
or what takes the
at
pot
least
out?
minimum. It's putting the pot out. So if you're setting the apparatus, so it should be T,
Yep.
whatever your address is.
Yep.
I would settle, for example, Forest Beach, Queensland.
Yep.
I would set, but the regulations say is the user's name
Yeah.
and address. So technically, from that, I guess you probably should say it should be.
Yeah.
Up the top end, whether it's float or a tag, is just the user's name, so it's fine.
Yep.
Chooses to use or in his mobile phone.
Yep.
In a lot of cases, I'll accept that.
Yep.
It's officer discretion. While I might accept it, Officer Archer, he may not,
Yep.
because, yeah. But my view is, if there's a problem with it, I can contact straight up. Or if
Yeah.
his pots are in someone else's boat, I can use that phone number straight up, rather than, in fact, it may be more efficient in some cases
Yeah.
if I'm suspecting they've been stolen.
Mm.
For example, if it was you by yourself, and yeah, I did a reg A check, came up your name, and you've got Goslin's pots in there, I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'll give him a ring and say, hey, did you authorise such and such to pick up his crab pot? So there is exemptions, I'll go through that there with you in a second. So you should have had 4 with 2 with.
What
in-
about
in
his
your
son's
address.
name? Because he put him out.
For days 1 and 2,
Yeah.
I would accept that.
Yeah.
However, on day 2, you see him retrieving them. On day 3, it looks like you reset them again on day 3.
No, we reset them on day 2 and then picked them up day 3.
Picked them up on day 3. So,
Yeah.
alright. I've got here reset day 3. Reset. So his son was going back to Newcastle, I think he said on the video,
Yeah.
the next day.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, if he wasn't going to be able to negate the comment where I think you're going to go with it, they should not have gone back out if they were going to be in his son's name. And they weren't anyway, but that's more of an issue with Brett
Yeah.
in between his son.
Yeah.
Kind of get you a little bit out of it a little bit that day.
Yeah.
But when you go back on that day, you are, and that's when they should have been changed. If he was going back, you even say on the video that he's going back to Newcastle, it's his
Yeah.
last day. So you knew that.
Yeah.
That probably should have been the time there where you should have renamed the apparatus in between your name, because you're setting them on the proviso that you knew you're going to come back the next day
Yeah.
and pick them up with Brett.
Yeah.
All right, so technically they got the wrong names, and on the top where they're tied up to, there's no tag.
Yeah.
And that's clearly seen in the video there too, where you just tie them up to the trees. There's
Yeah.
no identifying features of it. Had I been on patrol and came across those, it is highly likely that I would have seized them then and there.
Yeah.
If I,
Do you do patrols often? Yeah.
Yep.
Have you seized them?
We have seized a lot of crab pots,
Yeah.
a lot of unattendeds.
Yeah.
We do crab pot cleanups from time to time there as well.
Yeah.
We try and fit one in a year.
Yeah.
As you know, the Hinton Brook Channel there, it's quite a large area.
Yeah.
It's quite a large amount of drains,
Mm.
etc. Through that, it's a very, very difficult job.
Yeah. I understand. that.
And it's not our primary role.
Yeah.
We've got other things to do, the rec sector, the commercial sector.
Yeah.
We've got a number of commercial licences we have to try and service a year, plus grumper commitments.
Yeah.
We do grumper patrols. Picking up old abandoned crab pots is not our primary focus.
Yeah.
It's a sustainability concern. I'm sure we all know that. But
Yeah.
we simply cannot go around. It could almost be a full-time job in a place like the Hinton Brook Channel, going around looking
Oh,
for
absolutely.
them, removing them. So
Tons of it.
when we do come across them and they're marked like that, so out of the 8, if I had seen all 8 that day and saw that they're all unmarked at the top end, I would likely have seized the lot.
Yeah.
If I'm going through them and there might have been one or two that weren't marked at the top,
Yeah.
I probably would have rang Brett and said, hey, come across this, your details aren't meant, you need to fix this up. And
Yeah.
I may issue him a verbal caution, put him in, I may issue him a written caution.
Yeah.
I probably would have left them there,
Yeah.
and given the opportunity to fix them up. But when it was all 8, if I had to come across that,
Yeah.
now having said all that, do you understand all that?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All 8, at least 2, I'm assuming the other 2, and some admissions were made to me with regards to the 7 and 8 apparatus,
Yeah.
in which it was given to me that they were all in.
Yeah.
And there's a section in there in the video where you say, oh, this will have B. Gosner.
Yeah.
One of their 2, I think it's the loss,
The crop got it.
the crop got it or
Yeah,
something.
that's it. Yeah.
Which I may assume you're referring to that all 8 has on it, or it was something, I don't know, I'll need to ask you that.
All like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
alright. So technically they should have been changed into here
Yep.
on his son's name, like I said, between, if that's what she's going to claim, that's fine,
Yeah.
between Brett and his son, but this day here puts you in a little bit there too.
Yeah.
And there's just, with the names being in marked and no tag up the top, there's too many for me to do nothing about.
Yep.
Now it's an offence not to have the apparatus marked correctly,
Yeah.
and it's an offence not to have something up the top end.
Yeah.
It's a little bit double jeopardy in a way where you can be stung twice for the one setup. I view it, but technically I can chase that down that way,
Yeah.
or I can just give discretion. Now it's one for, it's an offence for each apparatus set. Each apparatus set is a different act.
Yeah.
So you commit an act with this one, you commit the same act when you do another one,
Yeah.
such and such and such and such. So technically with no tags at the top, there's 8 acts. I could choose to issue an offence, a fine for each act. In fact, there's enough there that I'll compile a brief of evidence for the both of you.
Yeah.
I'm going to choose not to. I'm going to choose to exercise discretion. There'll be one fisheries infringement notice being issued there today for 287.
Yeah.
Alright, so
To me.
to you.
Yeah.
Well, so I've taken some sort of action with,
Yeah.
with Brett in regards to this. I can't disclose that to you.
Yeah.
Same as I'm not going to tell him what my actions are going to be to you.
Yeah.
You two knock it out between yourselves
Yeah.
and talk about it. Now,
So
I-
just say you say that I heard the film of his one, and you say that you could potentially issue 8 to Brett Gosner, and then you come and you say potentially could you fine both people for the same fine. You're allowed to do that.
sorry, I'm not sure I understand what you're saying there.
So on the film, you said I could potentially issue you for 8 pots, the fine for 8 pots over 2 days, and this is how much it would be. And then
to him,
yeah, to him, and then to me, I'm getting the same. So it's the same.
for
8 pots for
it's you
both of us.
for 4
Yeah.
on day 3.
Yeah.
It's potentially 8 for him on day 1
Right.
and day 2.
Yeah.
Now he owns all the apparatus. He does have some sort of responsibility that if they're going to be used,
Yeah.
and he's the master of the vessel, that they're used in the correct way.
Yeah.
There is some onus on him, I guess.
Yeah.
So just to be clear between you and I today,
Yeah.
it's the 4
Yeah.
on day 3.
Right.
It could be argued all 3, however, his son's a minor, he's a juvenile.
Yeah.
So I can't take any action on him. The
Yeah.
onus falls back to his father
Yeah.
on him for allowing him to conduct those activities that
Yeah.
probably should be done in a lawful way.
Yeah.
So you and I, specifically, to narrow it all down, day number 3 for 4 apparatus.
Yeah.
4 apparatus should have been in your name. There's only evidence on that. You and Brett have been more than fair and reasonable,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm
Yeah.
prepared to exercise some discretion
Right.
in relation to it.
Yeah.
So rather than chipping you for each 4
Yeah.
and possibly 2 offences for each, so possibly 8 offences there for you,
Yeah.
it's one ticket, mate.
Yeah.
No, 287, and it could be well and truly above that, but I don't see the need to. I think between Brett and yourselves here, this will be a good learning curve for you.
Yeah.
And I can just do it with a simple thing, but there's too much here for me to do nothing about.
Yeah.
If I do nothing about it and just verbal cautions and let you guys walk out
Yeah.
without nothing, I would likely cop please explain from my supervisors with why all this and the complaints, why I did nothing.
Yeah.
So I need to be able to explain, and I've got a job to do.
Yeah, no, I
I'm seeing
understand.
non-compliance to this kind of level.
Yeah.
And it's serious, mate, for things like ghost fishing, for people stealing your crab pots.
Yeah.
If I say, found your pots on his boat or on his boat, I can contact you. I got the details there. I can follow it up, and it helps address it. Stops people setting excess apparatus.
Yeah.
There are certain exemptions where officers can exercise discretion, what you were trying to allude to there before.
Yeah.
If him and his son had set them the day before, can you go out with him tomorrow and retrieve those pots?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a little bit of a grey area there. Technically, no, probably should leave. If he knew he was going back to Newcastle, it should be taken out and brought back in. If he's crook,
So if I was invited on a trip to film it, and him and his son have set the pots, and then I've been invited to come and grab his pots, is it still my pot, or is it his son's pot of the offence for a minor, which you guys can't chase, or is it my thing for coming and then picking those pots up? So it's my owners the day before, even though I've only been invited to come and help with the pots.
you would need a reasonable excuse.
Yeah.
And that would need to come from Brett.
Yeah.
My son's come down with, I don't know, I'll just throw an example out there.
What
It's
about-
not an end all.
What about his son went to Newcastle?
I understand. That's what I'm saying. It should have been taken out there because he knew he was going home.
Yeah.
So it should have been taken out. If his son was still up here and had COVID or
Yeah.
something else that was bad where he couldn't go out
Yeah.
and he needed to go and get them, then I would consider that possibly to be a reasonable excuse.
So that
for
the
you and-
onus goes back on me for not knowing that I had to change the names to the tags, not the fact that Brett and his son put the pots out. It's on me to change it over, even though I just got invited out to film the day, helping with the crabbing. You see what I'm getting at?
If you've just been invited to film the day for crabbing, and that's what you're saying,
Yeah.
I do see you involved in the operation
Yeah.
of the crabbing,
Yeah.
which puts you in the boat. You're involved. You're helping out with the
No, I
stuff.
understand that was involved, not denying involved.
But to get to the nitty gritty,
Yeah.
you're talking a lot of officer discretion type stuff here. Then if you were to say and give me a statement to something of that effect, then I would be going back to Brett and I possibly maybe investigating him running excess apparatus for that day,
Yeah.
which would be a further charge to him.
Yeah. So
If
it's sort of
you are denying all involvement,
yeah.
I don't know, is this what you're going to throw at me here?
No, I'm not denying involvement, but because I don't want my mate to go out and cop a massive fine, so I would take the rap for that. But that's your officer's discretion to do.
And understand, Timothy, there could be a multitude of variable factors when we're talking hypotheticals.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
But to answer this particular one,
Yeah,
we could sit here till all day and even tomorrow talking hypotheticals
Yeah.
in different situations. And
yeah,
I'd be more than happy to try and accommodate you if it's all legit, no problem there.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. Does that make that part of it clear?
yeah. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's all good. Yeah.
And they
I
would
was just question. It's just question. I was just
and it would need to come from you to say, oh, I had no involvement
Yeah,
in
no,
that filming.
I understand that. Yeah.
And then I would need to go back and talk to Brett and say, well,
Yeah.
Brett, Timothy's claiming no involvement.
Yeah.
He was just there to film.
Yeah.
And if he goes, that's true, then I would potentially, in this particular case, go back, well, I need to talk to you about running excess pots, mate.
Yeah.
You did more than 4 on the day.
Yes. No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I was just seeing where it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this would be a good video in terms of knowing exactly, because I have no idea about all the rules with this. So I think that it would be good people know exactly the rules along the crabbing. My videos have always been educational to people, trying to tell them the rules and stuff. So this would be first hand. Boom, we're in it.
All right.
It's all good. I'll take the blame.
So I'd suggest you get familiar with those type of rules.
Yeah.
If you're going to be doing crabbing,
Yeah.
know the crabbing rules.
Yeah. No,
Download the app on your phone.
Yeah.
You can access the rules via that way. If you're unsure about something, give us a ring.
Yeah.
We're more than happy to answer the questions, send you on. Last thing I want to do is do stuff like this and get a public figure in and having to maybe issue, well, I'm going to issue you with a fisheries infringement notice.
Awesome.
Could have been a lot more, like I've explained.
Yeah.
I think one, we'll just do it for today and we'll use the educational approach with
Yeah, sounds great.
both years.
Awesome.
And leave it at that. However, I'm going to need your, I think I've got your email address. I think that email come through that I sent you.
Yeah, I was driving, so I didn't get it.
No, that's
yeah,
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll send it to there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So check your, I'll do that within 7 days.
Yeah.
It's going to be later than 7 days. I'll give you a ring and tell you when I notice, because you've got 28 days from the day that
It's issued.
it's issued to
Beautiful.
either pay it in full or
Yeah.
you can elect to have it part paid.
Yeah.
The options are there to go through and you set up however you want to do it.
Yeah.
First and final, I will, however, just, it's not a threat or intimidation or anything of the fact there, but more procedural fairness, natural justice. If I will make note on the infringement notice and on the file there that it was all these offences here, I'm summarising into one.
Yeah.
If you do elect to have the matter heard in court, and I'll have to do up a brief of evidence, I will do up the brief of evidence and allege all the charges there all separately and have it heard that way.
Yeah.
Just so you know, again, it's not through intimidation to get you to pay the fine.
Yeah.
I can't give you legal advice, the decision's up to you, but from my end, just to let you know what I intend to do,
Yeah.
I've intended to give discretion, just the one fine, summarise it all in that one, but if you choose to do that, then I'm not being vexatious, but just so you know that I will allege all the charges on the brief.
No worries. Beautiful.
All good?
Everything's all good.
Any questions?
If Brett pays the fine for the first infringement, does that cancel him out for all the rest of it? Or is that like if he pays the initial fine?
Who says I've issued Brett with an infringement notice? I haven't said that to you yet.
No, Brett told me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's told you certain things?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, so if Brett pays the initial one, can you go back and get him for others after he's paid the initial one?
No.
No. So all of those get cancelled out as soon as he's paid the initial infringement notice?
No, it's unheard of. I think possibly that may be seen if I was to do something like that,
Yeah.
to cancel that after I've issued it and come back and sting him for the rest. I think that could possibly be perceived as being vexatious.
Yeah.
And I would be entitled to do something, but I would need to have a good reason and explanation as to why I did that.
Yeah.
It may be, for example, if I caught him next week still doing a number of the same type of offences, but even say more extreme, and I might come back and go, no, I'm going to cancel that,
Yeah.
and I want to include today and the other day all into one,
Yeah.
and have that gone to court, because obviously he hasn't learned or listened to anything I said to him on that
Yeah.
day. That may not justify. I'd have to send up what I intend to do to our in-house legal department and get their thoughts on it
Yeah.
and their views and go from there, I suppose. But
Yeah.
it would be possible. I would like to think that those kind of things would not happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, does that answer that?
Yeah, perfectly. Yeah.
Any other questions, mate?
No, all good. All good. Thanks for doing your jobs.
All right, mate. Well, thanks for being good about it.
That's all right.
Brett was good about it too, mate.
Oh, he's a legend. He's an absolute legend.
Why he's being fair and reasonable, like I said. If
Yeah.
full of bad manners, weren't trying to listen to it, I may look at things separately and go a bit harder at it. But
Yeah.
I didn't really find anything on the system that you've had any past history.
I pulled crab pots like 3 years ago. Pulled up abandoned ones in a creek and did a video on it because the creek was littered with it. And I found out that
Is that the Harvey Bay video?
Yeah.
I haven't watched that. I saw it come up on coming up next.
I found out that I already got called and told not to do it anymore, but I'd heard from the locals that they had complained multiple times and no one had ever done anything about it. And then so I went to do the video and pulling. There was would have been 50 that you could see, and I pulled 12 up. So that was, and then I did a video. It was really good. I got told that I wasn't allowed to do it anymore, and even though they were completely abandoned, like half buried, pulling them out with the boat, sort of thing. Yeah, so that was.
I commend your intentions, but
Yeah, no, I understand. I already got the rap from the the guy who called me on that one. Yeah.
So did you have something written to you? Did you have an infringement notice issued to you or something like that?
No, he just rang me and we spoke on the phone for a while, and then he was happy. He just asked me where the crab pots went. I said the local Harvey Bay dump, and he was like, oh, no worries. And so, because I said, it's at the end of the video, you can see me offloading them at the dump.
Yeah.
So that was the only other, call up from fisheries I've ever had is from that.
Right. Well, I didn't see anything on the system, so I kind of viewed this as like this is your first offence as well. So
Yeah, well that's why I
hence the
never got.
discretion.
Yeah, I never got issued with anything with that. It was just a phone call. Had a good old chat to him. And
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, he asked me if I had got them all, and I said no. I got maybe 1/10 of the pots that are in that creek, and then I still had people writing comments on that video 3 years later that says still just as bad. So don't think anything was done about it.
They do clean-ups and everything
Yeah.
around the state.
Yeah, no, I've seen.
It's difficult for.
Yeah, I've seen the amount of crab pots are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. It is a full-time job.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about would it be worth starting a business that the government employs you, like someone could go around there 100% and then charge out their time to the government. So if the government gives you permission for that business to collect crab pots, you could be paid to collect crab pots.
Yeah.
And that's a full-time job. You get your own little.
Not impossible to achieve, but yeah,
No,
you'd need a general fisheries permit
Yeah.
or some type of temporary authority,
Yeah.
or be authorised as a fisheries
So it is
officer.
possible to set up something like that.
The Act would need changing in its current format because it's just authorised officers that
Yeah.
are permitted to.
Yeah, because I always get sad whenever I see it. It's just pots everywhere. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. So
Yeah.
no,
No, it's
I always think about stuff like that. With it, like
Yeah.
what sort of barge would you build, and
Yeah.
how would you would you be paid per hour? Would you get paid per abandoned pot or unmarked pot or whatever? Yeah, be an interesting thing.
If you got any further questions, give me a ring.
Will do. Yeah, thanks for your time. Appreciate
No
it.
worries.
Thanks for telling me the law.
Thanks, mate. Get familiar with it, mate. Hopefully I'll never have to call you in here again for something.
Yeah, that's right. I'll do my best.
Um,
Do my best. Yeah.
Good luck with the videos, mate. Enjoy watching the videos.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah.